We lost a good one today. One of the best and brightest to ever put on a Blue Jays uniform, Roy the Doc Halladay. 1977 in Denver, Colorado, the same year the Blue Jays came into the majors. He did not touch our hearts until 1998, September 20th, 1998, when he made his first start for the Blue Jays. And his second start, he almost got a no-hitter. This guy has been dominant throughout his career, including his 12 years in Toronto and his 4 years in Philadelphia. This man has been, and arguably will be, the greatest pitcher in Toronto Blue Jays history. Now, I say will be because my dad, we always go back and forth between, I go Doc Halladay and he always goes Dave Steeb, so, that's kind of always been the debate in the Merrills household. Roy Halladay passed today at the young age of 40 in a plane crash near the Gulf of Mexico, in a plane actually he flew himself. But, he was supposed to be on the Hall of Fame ballot next year. He was going to come to the Blue Jays level of excellence eventually, and it looks like now they might even retire their number. Obviously, he meant a lot to the city of Toronto in the 12 years he served there. But just to kind of look at his stats, just really great numbers. He had 390 games started, 203 wins, 105 losses, 67 games completed, which is about 15%, 2,749.1 innings pitched, 2,117 strikeouts, a 1.178 whip all-time. He was an 8-time All-Star. He was a 2-time Cy Young. He had 20 shutouts. He had 2 no-hitters, both in 2010. And, of course, he was the second person to ever throw a no-hitter in the postseason. In his career in 1998, before I was 1 year old, in Toronto, and after the 2013 season, he made sure to sign a minor league deal with the Toronto farm system just so he could retire as a Blue Jay. That is how much the city of Toronto meant to Doc Halladay. And believe me, the feeling was mutual. One of the best pitchers in the American League East ever, and absolutely dominated what has been the toughest division in baseball for almost the past 22, 23 years. There has never been a pitcher that has dominated like Roy the Doc Halladay, and who knows if there's ever going to be another one that's like him anytime soon. Absolutely crazy. Now, I was saying earlier, my dad and I always have the best debate here. Who is the best Blue Jays pitcher ever? I got to go with the doctor. Unfortunately, my dad's got to go with Dave Steeb. He's a bit of an older guy. We just kind of go back and forth, and that's kind of been the debate. Now, obviously, 32, very iconic number. The Jays have only retired 2 numbers ever, 42 for Jackie Robinson and number 12 for Roberto Alomar, as he was the first Blue Jay to make the Hall of Fame as a Blue Jay, and I think Doc is due, and number 32 will soon be retired here in Toronto. Growing up in Toronto, in the Toronto area, in the early 2000s, baseball really wasn't exciting, especially with the Blue Jays being mediocre. But one guy always made it very exciting, and that was Roy the Doc Halladay. He was the one, if you were going to one of his games, you knew it was a good one. You knew you would go. You would have to pay extra to go watch one of the best pitchers ever to put on a Blue Jays uniform. Obviously, I grew up playing baseball. I fell in love with the game a lot because of him. I grew up playing, and, I love to play pitcher. And obviously, I was a left-handed pitcher, so I really couldn't be the Doc. But, I always wanted to be Cole Hamels. I always wanted to be Mark Burley. But I wanted to dominate like Roy Halladay, because there was nobody truly greater. He was a childhood hero, and I am absolutely sad to see him go. What an absolute treasure he was to not only the Blue Jays organization, not only Major League Baseball, not only the baseball world, but everywhere he did and everyone he touched. A couple months ago to go watch a Phillies game, and I remember the tour guide Tom. I told him I was a Jays fan, and we had a great love and a great connection over Roy the Doc Halladay because he did a lot in Philadelphia. The farthest he ever got, unfortunately, was the NLCS in 2010, but it was kind of a what he could have done if he stayed or if the team did better. And I think realistically he was really competitive, he was really passionate, and unfortunately he wasn't able to win a World Series, but he did the absolute best he could, and I think that is something we will all truly remember from him. Growing up, and I remember when Halladay always pitched, they had those signs at the Rogers Center, and it was, "The dock is in, the dock is in." Well, unfortunately, the dock has checked out. Roy, thank you for all the memories you have given me, all the amazing childhood moments that I can never, ever forget. And honestly, I wish your family the greatest and the best during this difficult time. And I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, 32.